Hey, I'm Wes with Noria. I'm here with Kyle from AssetWatch, and today we are going to be talking about the 3 common mistakes when handling your oil analysis data and how to fix them. So, Kyle, first and foremost, I think we're going to be talking about improper sampling.
Absolutely. It's fundamental. If we take poor samples, we're going to have poor results. It's the old garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
We have to make sure we have good, clean, representative samples.
So that means the machine is running. We're taking the sample from the same spot in the same way every time. We say we want to maximize data density, minimize data disturbance, and sample at the proper frequency. Those are the 3 keys to sampling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's, if first and foremost, have to do that.
So I would say number 2 is lubricant misapplication or lack of labeling in the facility.
It's a huge issue, and we see it in all industries. A gearbox or a hydraulic system won't even have a label. Guys will grab a jug that is sitting on a shelf. It might be sitting next to their 220 oil, but it may have an ISO 46 in it.
Yes.
And for a lot of guys, they might not be able to necessarily tell what the viscosity is, if it's even wrong for that, just by giving it a little shake.
That's right.
So, they're not color coded, they're not labeled, there's no shapes, there's no LIS, there's nothing like that. So yeah, we see that frequently where the wrong lubricant gets put into the asset.
Yeah.
And then becomes very costly.
And it's an issue with your oil analysis because we should be building a trend, right, of where debris, and then all of a sudden we see big spikes in additives or big spikes in viscosity, and it's just more frustrating than anything else.
It absolutely is. And it leads to work that doesn't need to happen, because now we have this anomaly in the data. Is it real? Is it not? Now we may need to resample to confirm those results.
So get it in check, make proper labels, make sure everyone knows what lubricant goes where. You said color coding. There's a million different ways to do this.
There are.
Yep. Let's get the right lubricant in the right place.
Yes.
All right. So last but not least would be just ignoring the oil analysis reports or ignoring the trends to begin with, right?
Yep. I mean, that's the purpose of the trend, is to know what normal is. So that way we can see what abnormal is. That's really what we're looking at. We're looking for those cases where we start to see that abnormality. So if we're ignoring that trend, then what good is it? We see our iron go to 4, 6, 10, 18, 30. We may still be under our threshold alert, but we got that trend there telling us something's going wrong.
That's right.
So we need to act on it.
Yeah, we don't want to just see PDFs stuck in a folder somewhere on your inbox or on your server.
Yep.
We need to take actionable results from the data.
Absolutely. And that trending can go not only just asset level, but facility level as well. Do we see a trend across the site? Are all of our oils getting dirtier? Are all of our oils getting cleaner? It can be a facility score too as well, by tracking those trends and trending the facility.
That's it. Now, obviously, there's a lot to do with oil analysis and your lubrication program. AssetWatch has some tremendous resources to help with this, and we hope we catch you on the next video.